All right, and we are live. Just checking if I'm also using the right microphone. Yesterday, the first 2 minutes, I was using the wrong one and I sounded like mok, 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 mok. Okay. Anyhow, so if everything is going well, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. And this is awesome because today we have a lot going on. So let me just double check if we are live here. And we should be up and running. And if you would see me on Facebook, please type in a yes. And if you are seeing me on YouTube, type in also a quick comment, because this way I know that we are good to go. All right. So today is May 1st. And yes, so in some parts of the world, today is Labor Day. For example, in Germany, it is Tag der Arbeit, kind of Labor Day, and people are off. So if you are watching from some part in the world where you have a day off today, congratulations, good for you. So here's what we're going to talk about today. What's happening in the markets, as always. We're going to talk about the stocks that I'm trading right now. We're going to talk about how to deal with information overload and how to trade options with PowerX Optimizer. I don't think we are live on YouTube yet, so let me make sure that we are fixing that really quick, because there's quite a few people on YouTube who would love to see how to trade options with PowerX Optimizer. And so therefore, I want to make sure that we are live. And yes, we are. All right. Very, very cool. All right, cool. So if this is your first time here, hi. I'm Markus Heitkoetter, and I show people how to generate an income by trading stocks and options. And people come to me because they want to make enough money with trading so that they can quit their job and spend more time with their families and travel a lot like I do. And even though they have saved some money, they tell me that they don't get enough returns to be able to quit their jobs anytime soon. Now that makes them feel stuck and frustrated. Now, if this sounds familiar to you, you are not alone. Lots of people go through this. And here's what I tell them. You have to find a way to make money while you sleep. Otherwise, you'll work until you die. Now, trading is one of the ways, and trading can be simple, and I'll prove it to you. So today, again, a fun-filled program. We're going to talk about the markets right now, the stocks that I'm trading right now. And boy, there was one stock today that was so fun to trade. I want to show you about this. Then we're going to talk about how to deal with information overload, and I want to show you how to trade options with PowerX Optimizer. So let's get started. Let's talk about what happened in the markets today. And it was a really, really interesting day. Let me switch over to the charts so that you can see it. And let me move this a little bit over. There we go. So here you see the Dow Jones this morning. We were opening slightly higher. We were piddling around the unchanged mark for most of the day. And then we had the FOMC statement. That was the big news today. The FOMC statement, and they said they will not raise interest rates. Duh. I mean, everybody knew this. There was a 97% chance that they will not do anything already factored into the interest rates markets here. But here's the challenge. So while Fed Chairman Powell was explaining why they didn't do it, he was very, very vague, because he said, well, we like that the inflation is below the target. However, there's a few things about the economy where we're a little bit concerned. And this is where traders did not like these comments. So you see, for the past 30 minutes, the markets have been selling off. And this is true for the Dow as well as for the Nasdaq and the S&P. So right now, we're closed right now pretty much, and the markets are closing lower. And this was unexpected because, again, half an hour ago, it looked completely different. So this is what has been moving the markets here today, and we talked about it, that yes, of course, traders will keep an eye on it, what Powell does with the interest rates. So what is the stock that was in the news today? You know that we always look at one or two stocks. Today it was Apple in the spotlight. So Apple reported earnings and they were better than expected. So Apple right now up close to 5%. Earlier Apple was up more than 6%, but right now as the whole market is tanking, so does Apple. Now, here's the good news. I mean, you know me. I don't care about what the overall market here is doing, whether they raise interest rates or don't raise the interest rates, whether the market is making new all-time highs or whether the market is crashing, because when trading, you can make money regardless of what the market does. The important thing is that you need to trade what you see, not what you think. So let's talk about the stocks that I own right now. So right now I have 5 stocks in my portfolio, and let's switch over to the charts. The first one, we talked about this already for a little bit, Boot, which is the Boot Barn Company, but hey, who cares? So here you see, right now, I'm betting on Boot on a falling market, and I entered at $29.93. Right now, it's 20 cents up at $29.11. So I'm a little bit down, but you see right now, prices are trading here. It's the blue line or the blue thingy, rectangle. And this here's my stop loss, so plenty of room to my stop loss. So Boot is one of them, pretty much around the unchanged mark. PPBI is another stock that I'm trading. So here today, this is a stock where I'm betting on a rising market. So I want to see that this stock is going up. As the whole market was dragging down, it seems, so was this stock a little bit. So let me just zoom out so that you see where we are. I'm expecting the stock to go up to 34.06. But right now I see that this has changed direction. So one of the indicators is telling me, the RSI, that here this is not happening. All right, I'm getting out. I will not realize my full stop loss, only a little bit. So as you can see, probably around half of the money that I originally planned to risk. So there's 3 ways to exit the market, as you know. One is with a stop loss. The other one is with a profit target. And then the third way is when we see that there is a change of direction. And this is what I'm seeing here. How do I see it? By watching the indicators and seeing that one of the indicators is no longer indicating a bullish market condition. By the way, before we move on, for those of you who are interested in learning more about these indicators and how I find these stocks to enter, please go to mytradingroutine.com. And if somebody could enter it here really quick, I would really appreciate it. mytradingroutine.com. This is where I set up a quick video for you that shows you exactly what I'm looking at here, what these indicators are, the settings of the indicators, as well as when I enter and when I exit. All right, but let's talk about the other stocks that I'm trading right now. So VSTO is another stock that I have in my portfolio. For VSTO here, I am betting on a rising market. And again, yesterday it looked good. Today, slightly down here. You see I entered, if you zoom in a little bit, at 882. Today it's at 865, so down 20 cents. Doesn't really matter. This is why I have my stop loss in the market. Now, the 2 fun stocks that are really, really fun today, one of them is OLN. So we talked about this. OLN, I entered on Friday. The first profit target was at 22.02. It hit the profit target yesterday, so was able to cut the stop loss in half. And as you can see, if you're making this kind of money that you see in the green, you're risking this one that you have in red. These are the fun trades. Today, OLN kept falling, so right now it is at 21.12. So nicely walking towards my profit target here. And the profit target is at $19.69. Oh, that's interesting. 1969, that's the year why I'm born, in which I'm born, right? So I'm born November 15, 1969. So what can possibly go wrong? Of course, OLN has to hit the profit target. Now, here's the other stock. I talked about it for the past few days. SLCA is a stock that I tried to enter for 2 days. Couldn't get quite in because I want the market to come to my price that I want. But today it worked. So we got in here. I got in at 15.70, and as you can see right now, it is down by $1, so down 7%. It is so close to my first profit target. My first profit target here is at $14.28, and right now it already dropped from 15.70 to 14.70. So that, of course, is fun to trade, and this is a stock that I entered today, and it almost hit the first profit target. Loving it. And again, if you're interested in learning more, I'm using PowerX Optimizer to find the stocks here. It showed me clearly SLCA. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So for SLCA, it has shown me clearly when to enter, right? It shows me my stop loss and profit target, and tells me exactly what to do. And if you're interested in learning more about this, again, mytradingroutine.com. And today I want to show you how to trade options using the PowerX Optimizer, because some of you asked about this, so I want to make sure that I'm covering this. And we're using SLCA here as an example, because this is what happened today. All right, Paul says Rare is doing good too. That is fantastic. So for those of you who are using already PowerX Optimizer, I love to see the comments that you're doing well with this. And for those of you who are not yet using it, is this thus far helpful? If so, please type in a comment. Let me know that yes, it is helpful. And here's why I'm asking for a comment, because the software that I'm using does not show me how many likes you're putting in there. And if you like it, still do it, please, because then I see it later on. But leave a comment and let me know if this here thus far is helpful. And then we're going to move on, because in a moment we're going to talk about how to trade options with PowerX Optimizer. But first, let's talk about mindset. Actually, let's talk about the following. How to deal with information overload. These days, there's so much information available out there. I mean, YouTube, Facebook, Google, email. It's very easy to get overwhelmed with all this information. But there is a simple 3-step system that can help you with information overload, and that's what we are going to talk about right now. You see, these days, it's so easy to get overwhelmed with information. If you think back in the days, we walked into a library. I remember my first trading books that I read in a library. But now we do have Google, YouTube, Facebook, email, Instagram. And doesn't it sometimes feel that there is simply too much information? So how can you sift through this? Because there's one problem. When you have too much information, you can experience what I call analysis paralysis, meaning that you don't know what to do because you have so much things to analyze. So let me give you a very simple 3-step system on how you can cut through the clutter and really get rid of information overload once and for all. Step number 1, define what information do you actually need. Where is the gap? And so, for example, if you say, hey, I want to make money while I sleep. You know me. The 3 ways to do this is either trading stocks and options, or investing in real estate, or running a business that does run without you. Now, I must honestly say I haven't figured out how to run a business that runs without me. So let's talk about these 2. Investing in or trading stocks and options, or real estate. So which one of these 2 do you want to do, right? I mean, obviously you're here, you're listening to me, so probably trading is what you want to do. If that's the case, for now, focus on this and just stop looking at investing in real estate. Now, when it comes to trading, again, you can break it down into 3 main parts. The 3 main parts are, first, what to trade. So if you already know what you want to trade, if you want to trade stocks, don't look at any cryptocurrency techniques, right? So number 2 is when to enter. And if you already mastered this, don't worry about it. The third thing is when to exit. But again, step number 1 here in how to deal with information overload is how identify the gap. What information do you really need? And if you need all of this information, start with step number 1, what to trade. So this is where, for me personally, it helps to break down everything in chunks of 3. You see that this here a 3-step system on how to deal with information overload. There's 3 ways on how to make money while you sleep, right? And there's 3 major things that you need to know when trading. You see, this is what makes it easy for me. Based on this, go out and find the information that you need. Really think about it like going into the library. What section are you going into? Are you going into the trading section, or are you going into the real estate section? And keep one thing in mind. Once you decide to go with trading, stick with it. And don't worry about what other things you see, because the grass is always greener on the other side. Do you know why the grass is always greener on the other side? Because it is fertilized with bullshit. Anyhow, okay, so let's talk about step number 2. Once you know what information you want, step number 2 is this actually applicable to me? Can I personally do it? Let me give you an example. So, as you know, I'm also invested in real estate. When I got started investing in real estate, this was in 2006. And yes, I heard about buying multi-family units. In 2006, I just started my trading career. As you know, in 2003, my trading finally turned profitable. And so I did have some money, but not enough money to invest in multi-family units. Now, a few years ago, 3 years ago, I did buy apartment complexes, and they cost like $5.2 million. Now, here's the deal. When you buy apartment complex, you have to bring 20% of the purchase price in cash to the table. So this was a little bit over $1 million. 3 years ago, that wasn't a problem at all for me to afford. But many years back, in the beginning, when I started building my wealth, it was impossible. So what was applicable to me then in 2006 was buying single family homes. So just keep this in mind. Is this applicable to me? Another example from trading, if right now you have a job, you probably cannot day trade yet. Depending on the time zone, you might or might not. But if you live on the East Coast and you have to work from 9 to 5 and the markets open at 9:30, you can't day trade. So for now, set day trading aside, focus on swing trading, and then as you become more successful, you add other information in. So is this making sense? I just want to make sure. This is step number 2. Make sure that the information that you're looking at is really applicable to you, because there's so many things that you can do, but you have to find what works for you. Now, the third thing, how to deal with information overload, is ask yourself the questions, will I do it? And let me give you a very personal example. If you have been listening to my personal podcast, you know that a few episodes ago, I said that I'm pretty unhappy about my weight. I'm heavier than I was ever. I mean, I'm right now 224 pounds, and I was never that heavy. So I want to do something about it, but I can tell you right now, 3 hours working out per day doesn't work for me. Again, we are at step number 3. Will I do it? So I can seek information on how to lose a few pounds, and if it would say, all you need to do is work out 3 hours a day, I'll never do it. So why would I even bother with this type of information? By the way, do you remember the movie 300 with the Spartans, right? These dudes that were all ripped, or Gladiator? A few years ago, I ran across these workout routines that say, get ripped like a Spartan, right? And it was literally work out for 3 hours a day and don't eat anything. So this is why it won't work for me. So why would I even bother looking at this information? So for me personally, the intermittent fasting is better. So this is where now, if I know my gap, what do I need to know, right? Need to know how I can, basically create a calorie deficit. And for me, the applicable thing would be intermittent fasting, because I can easily do it. I'm not a big breakfast eater. Anyhow, so just to give you a really quick breakdown one more time about the 3 steps that you can apply in order to reduce information overload is: number 1, what information do I need? Number 2, is this applicable to me? Can I actually do this? And step number 3, will I do it? So these are the 3 steps that should help you to cut through all this information overload. This is at least the 3-step approach that I personally use to make sure that I'm not getting overwhelmed by information, because when you are overwhelmed by information, what will happen? Analysis paralysis, meaning that you don't do anything. All right, so is this helpful? Just to give you a few tips. If so, leave a comment and let me know if this makes sense to you. I would really appreciate any comments and saying, yeah, great, I'm doing it already, or no, I'll try it. That's fantastic too. All right, cool. I see that BZH says, I own my business and my time is flexible. That's awesome. I mean, this is what I said, the 3 ways, right? I mean, yes, I do believe it is possible to have a business that runs without you. Honestly, I personally haven't figured it out yet. Not saying that it is possible. I do believe that it is possible. Just one of the things that right now, at this stage in my life, I'm looking into and see if there's something that I want to pursue. All right, fantastic. So now let's talk about something else. You see, many people prefer to trade options instead of stocks. So right now, I will show you how to trade options using the PowerX Optimizer. Let's get started. So before we get started, just a very quick disclaimer. What I'm about to share is not an options 101. If you don't know much about options, I'll record another video for you that tell you what you need to know. So in another video, I will explain to you the different types of options. I will talk about days to expiration. I will talk about calls and puts. I will talk about time decay. So if right now you don't know these terms, this video right now might not be best for you. This video, what I'm doing right now, is for people who are already trading options, because one of the feedback that I got on these videos is that you said, you know what, I would love to know how you use this information to actually trade options. So let's take a look at some very specific examples. So in order to do this, I want to share my screen, because right now you see the PowerX Optimizer, and this is the software that I personally use to find the best stocks to trade. Now you said, why am I interested in stocks? This is a video about options, and you're absolutely right. Here's the deal. Options are a derivative, meaning that you need to know what is the underlying stock doing before you trade options. And there's 3 things that a stock can do. It can go up, it can go down, or it can go sideways. So first you need to know what is the stock doing before you can trade options. Now, one of the stocks that I traded today is SLCA. So SLCA gave me a sell signal according to my methodology. And this is, I use 3 indicators, the RSI, the MACD, and the stochastics, to actually determine whether the stock is more likely to go up, down, or sideways. Based on these 3 indicators, I saw that SLCA is more likely to go down. So now it gave me a signal to sell at 1574. And this is what I did today. I traded the stock. Now, if you want to trade options instead, it's very easy. And let me show you how to do this. So instead of betting on a falling market with a stock, you can trade a put option. And again, this video is meant for those of you who are familiar with calls and puts. So, and for me, honestly, this is the easiest way to trade options. You buy a call when you expect the market to go up, and you buy a put when you expect the market to go down. Don't get any more complicated. I'll show you how easy it can be. So here's what I like to do. Out of all the available options right now, and let me just show you all the options that are available for SLCA, take a look at this here. So you have all the different expiration dates, May 17, June 21, September, December, January, and then you have all these different strike prices. So the question is, which is the best option to trade? So first of all, we already know that we want to, here we go, that we want to trade a put. For me personally, the best day expiration date is anywhere between 30 and 60 days. So I like to trade options that have plenty of time left so that the stock can actually do what it is supposed to do. So therefore here I'm picking the options that expire in June because they have 52 days to expiration. Now for me there's two possibilities. I can either trade an in the money option, so this would be a strike price of 18, or I can trade an at the money option, which would be a strike price of 17. Let's compare these two and then make a decision of which one would be the better one to trade. Now what the software does for me, every single option has a fair price, right? And there's two different models that help you to determine what is the fair price of an option. It is the Black-Scholes formula or the binomial model. Doesn't matter what you use, but it tells me here that a fair price for this option for the in the money option would be $3.25, and for the at the money option, the 17 put, would be $2.45. So this is my entry price. I can then also use the same formula and estimate how much would the option be worth once the stock hits my profit target. And you see my profit target is that the stock drops, because we're talking about a falling market, that it drops by at least $3.50. So this means that the option at target should be worth $5.76. Now, if this trade does not go in my favor and if SLCA is going up, so this would be going against me, then I know that the option, once it goes up to my stop loss, is still worth $2.27. Knowing this, I can now calculate my reward and my risk. Very easy. And again, this is for those of you who are trading options. And for those of you who are trading options, you will right now see how powerful it is, because this is how easy PowerX Optimizer is making it for you to trade options. So here you see that the reward is $2.51 and the risk 98 cents. So you're risking approximately $1 trying to make $2.50. 1 to 2.5? I mean, this is a pretty good risk-reward ratio. All right, great. So knowing this is probably the option that I would go for. But we said, let's compare these two. With this option and having all the data that we can calculate using the binomial model or the Black-Scholes formula, we know that we would risk 98 cents trying to make $2.31. Now let me ask you this. If you could risk 98 cents and make $2.51, or you're risking 98 cents and make $2.31, which one would you choose? Would you choose option number 1 or option number 2? Well, pretty obvious, right? I mean, you have the exact same risk, but you can make 20 cents more on option number 1, so you would choose option number 1. So let's take a look at this. This is the 18 strike, and as I said, today I did enter the stock, I sold the stock. So let's go to finance.yahoo.com and see how much the option was worth this morning and how much it is worth right now. So how much you could have made if you picked the June 21, and again, we want to look for, let me make this a little bit bigger so that we can all see it. And we want to look for the put, and we want to look for the 18 put. Here we go. So here's the maximum price that we are willing to pay for it. For the 18 put, we want to pay a maximum price of $3.25. So let's see. This morning, as you can see in the open, it was trading at $1.85. Great! It is below the maximum price that we are willing to pay. So you could have bought this option for $1.85. Where are we right now at the end of the day? And you see it right here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. The bid ask is anywhere between $3.40 and $3.70. So as you can see, right now, if you would try to sell the option, you would get at least $3.40 for it. Now, let me ask you this. Would you be happy if you invested $1.85 this morning and right now it is worth $3.40? Of course, right? The most important thing is you need to know which stocks are making an explosive move. And this is why I use PowerX Optimizer. I first look at the stocks that are ready to make an explosive move. And once I know which stocks are primed to move, then I'm looking at the option. How do I decide which option to trade? I only look at two options. I look at the conservative one with at least 30 days to expiration, but no more than 60 days. And I look at the medium aggressive one, which is the at the money. For those of you who are familiar with options, I'm looking at a delta, as you can see here, of 0.7, and the other one is a delta of 0.5 to 0.6. So again, this is for those of you who know their ways around options. But for those of you who are trading options, you should be pretty excited about this, because this, for me personally, is the information that I need in order to make informed trading decisions. All right, so this is a very brief overview on how to trade options using the PowerX Optimizer, with a very, very specific example of a stock trade that I did today. And if you would have traded the option, again, you know that options come in 100 packs, so you would have paid $185 for the option, and right now at the end of the day it is worth $340, almost doubling your money within a day. I hope that you find this exciting. If you would like to know more about the way how I trade and the software, please go to mytradingroutine.com. This is where I set up a website that explains all of this in detail. How I find the stocks, how I set up my indicators, and also towards the end of the video, we will talk more about options. The video is around 35 minutes long, and all you need to do is go to mytradingroutine.com to take a look at this video. Now, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if so, please make sure that you leave a comment, that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, or that you like the Facebook page if you're watching this on Facebook. And as always, feel free to share it with anybody who might like this. All right, and for those of you who are here live, I want to see if I can help you and answer any questions. So feel free to type them in. Doesn't matter where you're joining me right now, whether it is on Facebook or on YouTube. I'm just going back here and see if I missed any questions. So this is why I'm looking at my bigger screen that is over there. And Corey says I'm live. Yay, that is awesome. Okay, good. Roll Tide, I love it. Roll Tide 0473. All right, Paul says, I'm making money on OLN, Rare, and SLCA. Fantastic. That's so good to know. How or where from do we get the first profit target? Dion, I did a video on this, and you will find it on the YouTube channel. So please go to youtube.com, search for Markus Heitkoetter or Rockwell Trading, and there's a video that shows you exactly how to do this. Just very briefly, in a nutshell, what you want to do is whatever your stop loss is, double that and use this as your first profit target. Okay, so stop loss, double that, use this as your first profit target. But I have a video for you that shows it to you in detail. All right, fantastic. Dion says, PXA is great, using it since a couple of weeks. Fantastic. Marge said, glad you got into SLCA. Hard to borrow stock on toss. Well, this is why, trade an option instead, right? I mean, you can trade the put option. Very easy. This is exactly what I've just shown here. Okay, Eric, any chance you can make some videos on how to use Think or Swim? I believe we have some videos there. I'll look it up, Eric, and I will let you know where this is. BZH, we already talked about your business. That's so awesome. BZH, by the way, what do you do? What is your business that you're doing? All right. Miles, great to hear you live. Great to have you here live. Really appreciate it. Okay. JJ Gems, how much does your course cost? I'm not selling any courses. I'm offering the software because it makes my life so much easier. And if you're interested, just go to mytradingroutine.com. This is where you find all the information here. Okay, Eric is asking, what is the ideal account size for the options? I would say probably $5,000, and here's why. Because you know the golden rule, never risk more than 2% of your account on any given trade. So if you have a $5,000 account, you never want to risk more than $100. So going back to the options that we looked today, you would risk $98. So you're good. See, the smaller the account size, the fewer choices you have. Because if you look at another stock, let's just pick one randomly here. LL Lumber Liquidators, didn't trade that today. But here you see the risk here is $1.64. So that's $164. If you only have a $5,000 account and you're adhering to the 2% rule, you could not trade this. So I would say for any person who wants to get started with trading, $10,000 is the optimal account size, because with this, you'll be able to risk $200 on any given trade, and this allows you to dive into these trades here very, very easily. All right. Marina says, please tell me about earnings for SLCA and if you should have gotten it yesterday if it triggered yesterday. Well, if it triggered yesterday, I would have gotten in it. So what I do is the way how I worry or don't worry about earnings. Let's go back to SLCA. I want to see, and I'm sharing my screen here. So I want to see, has this stock any major gaps or not? Because if it doesn't have any major gaps, it's usually not reacting heavily to earnings. And when it is not reacting heavily to earnings, I don't care about it. By the way, for those of you who are joining me this weekend live in Houston, this is exactly what we're going to talk about and dive into more detail here. But great question. So I'm not too concerned about earnings here if they haven't played a major role in the past. Dev is asking, what's the difference between a put or short the call? Oh my gosh, do not sell options, right? So you're asking, okay, should I rather buy a put or sell a call? Buy a put, okay? Do not sell options naked. That's a different story, and we'll talk about this in another video. Em is asking, how can I control myself for not moving the stop loss? Slap on your fingers. No, I mean, it's a matter of discipline. And in order to have the discipline to follow your system, you need to have trust in your system. And that's actually a good one. So how can I, let me write this down because I'll do a video on this. How can I control myself from not moving my stop loss? Okay. Great question. I'll do a video on this because that's really cool. All right. Awesome. BZH Diamond Dealer. Love that business. That is awesome. That is great that this business runs without you. All right. Mark says, thanks for the lesson on options today. Better understanding how to trade options. Okay, Mark, so good to be helpful here. Okay. Corey's asking, using the 3 indicators and stocks seem to be going down after I enter. Bad luck? I no loss a part of it. Well, you see, 2 things. First of all, you want to make sure that you're only entering at the price that is specified. So, as you know, going back to SLCA, and let me just show this. For those of you who have been following me on Facebook Live, you know that since Monday, I've been trying to get into an SLCA position. But, you see, only sell to open when prices goes below 1575, meaning at 1574 or below. So, and for the past few days, the indicators already said it's going down. But I want to wait until we really go below the low that was previously established. Let me zoom in, and you see that here was a low established, and today we finally broke through the low. So, Corey, please make sure that you follow that rule, that you're not just blindly jumping in when you see all the 3 indicators, that you wait until the stocks cross that line in the sand here, right? And then the other thing is, yeah, you see the winning percentage is 53%, meaning that half of your trades are possibly losing trades, and that is okay. Because if we look back at SLCA, as long as you risk a little, you see this, what you have in red here. Oops, sorry, forgot to share my screen. So SLCA, as long as you risk a little, as you have it here with the red, and you make a lot, as you have in green, it is absolutely fine that you have a few losses in a row, because then one winning trade will make it all back. Making sense? All right. Fantastic. I know that we are at the end of our time together, so I'm not quite sure if I can do a live video tomorrow, because I will be traveling to Houston, where we have a live event this weekend. This is for those of you who already have the software PowerX Optimizer. So I will personally train you and show you all the tips and tricks about trading stocks and trading options using this software. So for those of you who are coming, it is a free training. It is included in your investment with PowerX Optimizer, because I want to make sure that you're using it in the right way. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing you this weekend, and I'll travel or drive over to Houston probably already tomorrow, because this way I have plenty of time on Friday and don't have to be worried about traffic and all this good stuff. All right. Have a great rest of the day. I will definitely do a live video from Houston. Just don't know if I can do a full-blown Coffee with Markets episode. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video, this show here, as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Please hit the like button, subscribe to it, and as always, share it with somebody who you believe that might find this information helpful. I'll talk to you very soon.